Welcome to the Intermediate Game Plan Guide. This is going to be broken up into 3 parts. This is part 1. If you haven't, go and watch the Beginner's Game Plan Guide first, because everything we do in this is going to originate from that, and we're just expanding upon it. This time, we're going to use Djeeta. And another little trick, if you decide to record videos of your own, if you make them crouch, they don't keep talking the whole time. But anyway, so, round start. What are we going to do? Exactly this. The same as before, we're going to crouch block. We're going to pay attention to our opponent for 1 to 2 seconds. This time, it's a little different though. Let's say they decide to jump in. Well, on the next round start, I want you to remember that and punish them. I want you to adapt and actually try to remember what they did. Whatever they do in the first round start, try to punish it in the second one. So let's say they walked up and attacked on their round start like this. Well, what you could do is I recommend instead of crouch blocking, you kind of just hold back and then you can get a nice little punish off on them. You walk back and you can get them like that. See that? So figure out a way to beat whatever they do on round start. So it won't always work, but that's not the point. The point is that you're reacting to what they do, and you're trying something. That's all that's important. We're practicing. We're not trying to win the games. We're trying to build good habits and get our hands used to playing, so that further down the road, we'll understand things better. So we go into phase 1, and if you remember from before, phase 1 was when we were at long range, and we shot fireballs. Well, that's going to kind of stay the same. We're going to shoot fireballs, pushing them back, and we walk forward. We want to get them to the corner just as before. But I want you to be a little more careful. Don't shoot them like this at like regular intervals. They'll be able to punish it if you do that. But pretty much, fireballs serve several purposes. One of which is it stops your opponent from walking towards you. They can't walk towards us with a big fireball in their way. So it makes it hard for them to get in. If they attack, it'll also stop them. You see that? So they can't attack us either. It causes them to jump, which is when we do our anti-airs. You already know that one. And it also is just annoying. Like, it's hard to play with all these fireballs in your face. It always makes me laugh when people complain about fireball spam. They'll be like, oh, he just spams fireballs, and then when I try to jump over them, he anti-airs me. And it's funny because that's like, when it comes to fighting games, that's the oldest trick in the book. And people having trouble with that is exactly what you're supposed to go through when you start fighting games. But you gotta be careful. There are ways to get around fireballs. One of which is that you can roll. Now, there is a block button in this game that I didn't go over yet. If you hold the block button, well, you block. It has several reasons to do it. There's several different things you could do out of it, but I'm only going to go over one. If you hold it and you press forward, you roll. I know it doesn't look like a roll, but that's what it's called. It's similar to Smash Brothers roll, where you have invincibility when you roll through stuff, but not attacks that hit the lower portion of your character. You can't roll through those. I think I have it set as 4. Yeah. So let's have Gran do a fireball. And you'll see I can roll through it. And you could probably punish him. If I was better at the game, I could. But it's a way to get in. So you have to be careful. Your opponents might roll through your fireballs. And if that's the case, and you're a character like Djeeta here, you can actually charge your fireball if you hold the button down. And by charging it, it sets off the timing. So when they try to time it for the regular one, and they do their roll, the charge will be delayed and it'll hit them out of that. So, something to keep in mind. Another thing to note is that Djeeta's fireball goes through their fireballs. You see that? Because if you charge hers, it gets 2 hits. So, just something to keep in mind if you get into a fireball war and you're using Djeeta. Other characters can alter their fireballs as well. Some can. It depends on what character you're using, so you gotta play around with them. Even if you can't alter the speed of your fireballs, though, it's good to still show them once in a while. You have to make your opponent be worried about it. You're making them think about it. This is what's called making them respect your fireballs. And now the term respect in fighting games doesn't mean like, you know, they are trying to insult you IRL or something. That's not what it means. In fighting games, respect just means they've got to worry about your option to shoot a fireball, so they have to play around it. And when you add multiple options, you're filling up their brain. Let's say their brain only has 3 slots. And for most of the time, they're going to worry about you jumping in. So if you jump in, that's 1 slot. And now you're putting the fireball in, that's a 2nd slot. So then what would the 3rd one be? Well, I don't know, maybe a low. So they'll crouch block like that. So what happens if they're afraid of this, they're afraid of this, and they're afraid of this? Well, then you can do this. You can walk up and throw them. That's just kind of how it works. You fill up their brain with stuff so that you have another option that they're not thinking of, and that's how you win. It kind of is funny, though. It reminds me of Guilty Gear Strive. Now, I just played the game in the very beginning. I just played it the first month it came out, just for a little bit. And I picked Kai because, you know, he's the Shoto. He's got fireballs. He has an uppercut. And so I played as him, and I know a lot of people would hate playing against Kai. And he has nothing. He has no mix or anything, if you know what that means. And it always made me laugh because I guess it became a meme where Kai would just run up and throw people all the time. And when you think about it, it's what we just talked about is what's happening. You see, Kai has a move that travels along the ground and hits low. It's called Stun Dipper. They're always afraid of that move. So they want to block low like this. And when you block low and crouch, you can't walk. Now, if I block high, I could walk back and move. But if I'm blocking low, I can't move. So they cement themselves in place like that, worried about that low traveling Stun Dipper move. They're also worried about fireballs, and they're also worried about getting attacked in the air. So what do Kais do? They run up and they throw. I mean, it makes perfect sense. What else does he have? Not much. He's a strike throw character. So, just something that kind of makes me laugh. After the fireball phase, we of course move into anti-airing. Now, you remember how this goes, right? When they attack, you hit them out of the air. If they jump over a fireball, you're going to get hit. So make sure that doesn't happen. But you don't shoot one, you get a chance to anti-air them. Eventually, you'll get better at identifying when they're going to jump. You'll kind of know. It won't seem random anymore. But for now, it's kind of going to feel random until you get used to it. Now, there's 2 different types of hits. You notice how it does this big slowdown with the boom and the red? That just means it's a counter hit. For the purposes of this guide, that doesn't mean anything. But sometimes it'll just look like this, and nothing happens. It doesn't, no big boom or anything. For us, that's equivalent. We don't care, because we're going to learn a combo for this anti-air, and it works on both versions. So, let me just show you the combo on screen there. And, wait, what? You don't know what that means? Oh, well, then let's go into Numpad Notation so you do know what it means. So take a look down at your keyboard. Do you see that number pad on the right there? Well, we're going to use that to figure out what this combo means. Here, let me put it on screen to make it a little easier. Do you see those 4 arrows on there? There's an up, down, left, and right. Well, next to them there's some numbers. 8 is up, 2 is down, 4 is left, and 6 is right. Those are the directions. The numbers in this combo mean directions. So, 8 is up, which is jump, 2 is crouch, 4 is back up, and 6 is go forward. So when we look at it now, we see it says 2H. What does the H mean? Well, this game has 3 basic attacks, light, medium, and heavy. H just stands for heavy. So 2H. So what is 2? Crouching. What is H? Heavy. That's just our anti-air. That's all that means. So now we know what 2H is. You know, it's kind of funny because we're getting a character called 2B soon, and technically her name would mean crouching medium attack, because in some anime games, instead of L, M, and H, they go A, B, and C. So 2B means crouching medium. Anyway, let's continue with our combo. You see that little arrow? I think those are called carrots. But we don't know what that means. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go look up something to figure that one out. And here's where I recommend to go. Dustloop Wiki. The Dustloop Wiki is a perfect place to figure this stuff out. So I recommend you go over to Djeeta, because we're playing with Djeeta. You go to the combo section, and right there has a list of what everything means. All the little symbols. I'm going to cut and paste that to the screen here so that you could see what we're talking about. So now we look at that little arrow. Let's see what it says. It basically just says continue the combo, doesn't it? So let's just continue on to the next thing. So now what does it say? It says 623M. So we know that the numbers are directions, but what does 623 mean? Well, that is what is known as a motion. You see, we've been spoiled in Granblue because we can do special attacks just by pressing a single button, but normally they require a motion, and you're supposed to press a motion each time, but we don't have that. We haven't practiced that so far. So 623 is a motion. We're gonna have to try to figure out what it means. So let's look at our handy dandy numpad and figure this one out. So the 6 means forward, the 2 means down, and the 3 means down forward. So forward, down, down forward. Well, what the hell kind of motion is that? Is probably what you're thinking, and you wouldn't be the first. This is a very notorious motion that gives beginners a hard time. It's called the Dragon Punch motion. Now, where did it get its name? Well, many, many moons ago, back in Street Fighter, there was a character named Ryu, and he does this one move, a rising uppercut attack, where he yells Shoryuken. Now, Shoryuken is Japanese for something, and we translated it wrong, and it came out as Dragon Punch. I think it means like rising dragon, something or other, but we call it Dragon Punch here in the States. So that's what that motion is. It's to do a Dragon Punch. But most of us don't say Dragon Punch. We abbreviate it as DP. So you're going to hear people say DP a lot in every fighting game, and that's what it means. It means a move that's like Ryu's rising uppercut. To do that motion, it kind of looks like this. This is very confusing. It kind of looks like a Z, and I'm not going to expect you to be able to do it. In the game, it would look like that if you wanted to do it, but you're not expected to be able to do that. So instead, we could do it with the special button. Now you'll know the special button just does fireball, but have you ever accidentally gotten this move? That means you're holding forward and you press the special button. I think I actually did that in the beginner video once. Now, this is the light DP. You see that? But we don't want the light DP. We want the medium one. It's much bigger and better. So how do we get medium? Well, this is what you can do. In this game, if you press the special button and another button at the same time, you get the medium version. Here's medium fireball. Here's the normal one. Here's the bigger one. They kind of look similar. It's hard to tell. But with DP, you'll notice. Here's the light DP, and here's the heavy one. You see that? I'm pressing forward, medium, and the special button at the same time. Now you can press forward slightly early, because you could hold forward and do this. So forward can come a little early, but you gotta time that medium and special button at the same time. So anyway, let's practice our combo now. He's gonna jump, and we're gonna anti-air him. And after that anti-air connects, we're immediately gonna cancel into our medium DP. Let's see the whole thing. And we get a lot more damage. And we knocked him further away. Let's watch that again. Cancel right away. If you notice, I'm doing it very early. You don't have to do it super quick, but it's better to. Because if he were to jump, then it would still work. you know, without attacking. We're not getting the counter hit. If we do it quick, it still works even if he does this. So, let's practice that. Do it. Cancel into DP. And I want you to do this on both sides. You should be able to do it this way too. Because if you'll notice, see, that time I was a little in front of him, but it still worked. That's what I like about this combo. It still works a lot of the time. The inputs are reversed on this side. Just keep that in mind. I'm actually pressing left to do the DP, not to the right. So practice that 10 times on both sides. Okay, so now that we know how to do that, I'm going to give you another combo. And I'm going to expect you to be able to figure it out on your own. Here's your combo. Now this is going to be tough because a lot of it I didn't teach you yet. I'll provide the little list of things so that you can see what the new things are, but I want you to be able to figure this out on your own. If you're following along and playing, try to play and actually do the combo in the game. But if not, at least think of what it means, and you can also write it down if you want, because writing out the directions, you know, what the numbers mean, it makes it easier. So go ahead and pause the video right now and figure it out. Okay, I hope you figured it out, or at least tried. Let's go over it together. So, the example combo, it has a little C next to it. First of all, what the hell does that mean? So we look on our list, the little C means close. One thing I haven't said yet is that all the attacks have a close and a far. This is the far version of that move. This is the close version. You see how it's different? Let's put him to blocks all. Here's the far version. Here's the close version. Here's the far light. She kicks. See that? And then here's a close. She elbows. So all the normal attacks have a close and a far version. They're called proximity normals. So what it says is it wants us to have the close, and then we press medium 3 times, which is this. It's just our auto combo. That's all it is. Then it's got the little arrow, which means we just move on to the next thing. And then it has 214M. So we know that the numbers mean directions. And because there's 3 numbers in a row, it's probably a motion. So let's try to figure that out. 2 is down, 1 is down back, and 4 is back. So 214M is quarter circle back. Quarter circle back M. Let's see what that looks like. It hit 2 times. Interesting. I just did the motion and the button once. I only pressed it once, but it hits 2 times. So what does that mean? And also, what does it mean that there's another 214M? There's a little squiggle. I think that's called a tilde. And a 214M after that. What does that mean? Well, it means you need to input it again. So it looks like this. That's what it looks like when it's fully complete. Now, I don't expect you to be able to do the motion like that. You can do it with the shortcut and hitting medium at the same time, just like before, with the back button. Just hold back. You're still gonna have to time the second hit though. You wanna time that second hit just as, or you wanna time that third hit, I guess, the second input as her second hit connects, if that makes any sense. It's kind of confusing, but I'll just say when I press it. Now, now. That's when I pressed it. Now, now. And then you'll get all 3. You have to time it. You can mash it, but I don't want you to because there's a reason why you may want to stop early. And if you mash it, it might continue. You see, this move is called a Rekka. And yes, it originated from Street Fighter 1,000 years ago, as most of these terms do. And basically all it means is there's multiple inputs for one special move. Now the nice thing about this for us is, do you remember in the beginning, in the beginner's guide, I had you do a combo, and if it was on block, you were supposed to cancel into Fireball? Well, that was to keep it safe, remember? You don't have to do that anymore with Djeeta. You could just stop doing the Rekka. If you stop it early, then it's safe. You just stop here. Like this. And you don't continue it. That's the nice thing about a Rekka. So anyway, we have our example combo there. Let's switch him to after initial hit for his blocking. Now, Remember, I only have crouching because it makes them not talk constantly. Blocking after initial hit is kind of what you want it to always be at most of the time, because what it lets you do is figure out if what you're doing isn't a combo. Like if I mess up a combo, he'll block it. It's very important to have. So let's figure out our combo. 3 medium attacks, and then we cancel into our Rekka. There's our combo. You see it says 6 chain on the left there. If it says 6 chain, you did it correct. And there we go. We got our little sample combo done. Not too bad, right? So after we get our anti-air combo, what should we do? Should we just stand there and do nothing? No, of course not. We should try to take advantage of it. Because while they're stuck in their falling animation, we're free to do whatever we want. Now watch, they kind of flip out in the air. But while they do that, the whole way down, they can't press any buttons. They can't do anything, and we're free to move. So if we time something to where it hits them right when they land, then they have to deal with it. So we're going to shoot a fireball. We're just going to shoot a fireball and see they have to deal with that. There's nothing they can do. If they try to walk or attack, they're going to get hit. And so doing that is very beneficial. There's also when we do a combo. Let's say we hit this combo we did earlier. This one. You'll notice they hit the ground. Now, let me turn recovery off so it's more obvious. So now watch when he hits the ground. You see how he has to get up there? It also happens when we sweep. Oops, when we do sweep. So, you see how he hits the ground. Now, while he's down, we can't hit him. Nothing's gonna happen. See how I'm trying? I can't hit him. He's invincible while he's getting up. That's how fighting games are. Think of it like a boxing match. When someone gets knocked down, they get to stand up first before they can get attacked again. This is very similar. You can't hit him. So what we could do is if we were to time an attack, we can hit them the moment they got up, like that. And we could do a big attack, like a heavy move. So they can't attack us or they'll get hit. This is called a Meaty. Doing a Meaty means it hits the moment that they're able to be hit. I think that might have been too slow. Now, I've been manually timing them. That's why I'm making mistakes. Normally, you set up little scenarios. See how that one just barely missed? Normally, you set up little scenarios where it'll be guaranteed to hit Meaty. But I don't really want you to do that. You see, that's kind of risky at your level, because what's going to happen is the opponent is going to wake up. Let's see here. On wake up, we want them to use Rising Sword H. This is what's going to happen a lot of the time. And you're going to get hit. So you have to be careful. And at lower levels, people do this all the time. They wake up with these invincible moves. So it'll beat whatever I try to do. So instead, I recommend you do this. When you knock him down, you go up and you block. Then when he does this, you can get whatever combo you want. And you get a whole free combo. And you block. So let's say we hit him with this move. I want you to run up and block. But you have to be careful. I don't want you too close. That might have been too close. I want you to block about here, because then you're out of throw range. If you block too close, people wake up with throw a lot in this game. So go up to block and go about here. So let's try it again. We do our combo and we knock them down. We go up to here and block. They do this and we get to combo all over again. Okay? That's what we do. We'll back up a little and block. So we're out of throw range. If we're too close, they could wake up and throw. Let's see. Is that an option here? Throw. And we go up and block, and they're gonna throw us. We don't want that to happen. So, when we hit them, or actually, so instead, when we hit them, We get closer and block. We let them do whatever they want, and we get the combo all over again. That's how we're going to play. So this act of knocking them down and then doing something when they wake up, that is called Oki. And the term comes from the Japanese word Okizeme. Oki is part of the verb okiru, to wake up or to get up, but I don't know what zeme means. But either way, it's when you knock someone down and you do something when they wake up. That's your Oki. They're waking up into your Oki. You decide what they have to wake up into. So it's very powerful. It's almost as good as getting them into the corner. But I don't want you to try to do a meaty. Because if you notice, I've been mistiming it this whole time. It's very difficult, and so I don't recommend you do that. Plus, everybody wakes up with an invincible move, and it'll beat you. So instead, when you knock them down, just stay a little ways away, out of throw range, and block. That's the safest thing to do. You don't need to win by pressuring them on wake up. You can win by your fundamentals alone that you know at this point. So yeah, that's it for part 1 of the intermediate game plan. Part 2 and 3 will come out soon. It takes a little while to make these. And so I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions or anything down in the comments. And I'll see you on the next one.